Hi, it's Shay, and this is me talking about Summer in the City afterwards, because previously I had it only beforehand. I am going to move in a second, but I just wanted to highlight my cool sick shirt. It's by an organisation called Black Creators Matter. I met the founder, Audrey, on Saturday. It is so important. As soon as I saw this shirt as well, I'm like, yes, I will have it. I will shout them out. I will put the links below. Like, the entirety of Summer in the City was actually a really good time. I had a really good time. I'm going to kind of do like a go through of all my days, and yeah. So yeah, let's go and talk about Summer in the City 2019. I actually really enjoyed it. The panels I went to on Saturday were creators being taken seriously, breaking beyond social media.
When did you start back?
So I feel like I've been on YouTube for a very long time. I kind of started when I was like 12 or 13, so throughout my entire like school life. I remember nobody knew what YouTube was, nobody was watching YouTubers. It was just me and like maybe one other person who wasn't even my friend, so we couldn't even like bond over it. And I remember when YouTubers would start making videos saying, oh, like I'm gonna join the YouTube partner program and I'm gonna be able to start making money. So right from back then, the intention behind starting a YouTube channel wasn't to make money, because you couldn't. And when you were able to and you started doing the first brand deals, you were called a sellout. So I feel like the sentiment has changed an awful lot over the years. Of acceptance of creators being able to do brand work. But yeah, I mean, now it's in the news every day, and the thing is, back then, if you had a viral video, you'd get 1 million views, and you'd be in all the papers, all the news, everything. You'd be a sensation worldwide. You can get 1 billion views now, and you know, the media doesn't... It's normalized.
Everyone gets 1 million views, apparently.
Let's talk about diverse content.
In terms of how we have built Word in the Code, how would you perceive the importance of creating content that is diverse? And then I guess we can go on to the
So I guess the main reason why we started the channel was we both went to the same uni and up in Manchester, and we felt that around that time there wasn't much of a decent representation of people who looked like us in the media, on TV, and often the types of people who did look like us didn't talk like us, didn't act like us, so we just felt as if there seems to be a disconnect with the way that media is portraying everyday people. And also around that time, I guess, people were watching TV less and they were on YouTube more and they were online more, so we thought, well, why don't we create a channel which tells the voices and stories of different people, different communities that make up London, England, the UK, and then globally as well. And I guess it's so important to tell those stories because you look for people who are representations of yourself on TV and online, and whether that's for inspiration or whether that's for guidance or just to have a laugh, you know, that's really important to myself and to us, so that's kind of what we did. And so, you know, in weird and wacky ways, which is what we like to say our YouTube channel is, we tell those stories and we explore those people who make up the country that we live in, so that's why it's important for myself.
And I know that community is really important to Word on the Curve as well, and kind of understanding and delivering content through the eyes of different communities and demographics. How do you Word on the Curve go about doing that?
So for us, we're both 27-year-old boys from London, so
Black don't crack.
we can't, you know, we don't represent everyone. So for us, what we found is just talking to people, having conversations with people, understanding them and how they live, and that kind of informs our content. So we do a lot of insight before we create videos. We ask people, we show videos to people, and we seek advice from those people who then might become distributors themselves of our content because they feel passionately that we've kind of spoke to them early on in the early stages of creating the ideas. And that's kind of like how we work for our own content, and we also work with a load of other brands to create content for their platforms. So Channel 4, NHS, we create stuff for them. And it all starts with just speaking to the target audience. And I understanding that target audience, basically.
And collaborating with creators and brands. I feel like on Friday it was a lot more chill. I learned actually quite a lot of stuff, and I got to meet a few people. Riyadh, I love Riyadh, and he was so nice and he was so welcoming, and we had like a good quick chat. And then on Saturday, I met Riyadh again and I got him to sign. He was doing a book signing, but I got him to sign his book, which is actually pretty good. It's very colourful, it's very inclusive and interesting. But I really loved how this year I had friends that I went with. My friend Lee, you should go check them out. I'll put the description below. They were so great. Honestly, we kept saying that we were each other's SiTC companions, because I didn't know they were going at first. And this is why Black Creators Matter is so important. The only reason that they could go was because they got a ticket from Black Creators Matter. I wish I had known about that beforehand, to be fair. I could have spread the word if I knew that was a thing. I only found out about Black Creators Matter on the Saturday when I went to the stall, and Lee kept mentioning it and introduced me to them. So Friday was so chill. It was not many people because it's the Creator Industry Day. It was very relaxed, you know. There wasn't that many people, so you could go around the stalls, you could buy stuff if you wanted. I really like the Penguin stall. I'll put their link here as well. They had so many cool books. I wanted to go and buy all the books, to be honest. The stalls as well were very cool. I even bought a pin. This is the pin, actually. I lost it on Friday and I was really upset about it, so I went and bought another one. It was only £1 as well, and I don't really have many pins that are like explicitly non-binary. I usually have pronoun pins, or like I got this from Black Pride, very important. So yeah, no, it was a really fun time on Friday. And then if we're moving on to Saturday, which was like, obviously that was a lot busier because that's when most of the people that go to Summer in the City will go. They will go for the weekend, Saturday and Sunday. The first thing I did was go to the trans meetup. So a few days beforehand, I think Jake Edwards, Noah and a few other people advertised that they were doing like a trans meetup outside the Excel Centre in the West Entrance. And I didn't have any panels I wanted to go to before then, so I was like, yes, of course I'm going, and I'm going to be on a panel with these people, so why wouldn't I go? It was a real fun time, and I got there earlier than a few other people, and I got to hang out with some mates that I had met like I'd met them like a few months ago to a year ago. My buddy Sailor, Milo, Chris and Leo. Hey guys. So we just like hung out for a bit before the trans meetup, which was really nice. And then yeah, everyone was so cool and chill and nice, and like there were so many cute moments going on, and it was very great. I had to leave before it ended. It was a long time. I think it was like 12:30 to 3 or 2. I had to go and leave because I had a meetup with Elle Mills. So I really wanted to do that because I really wanted to meet Elle Mills, and Elle Mills was amazing and lovely and so down to earth and like also really cool. I got her to sign my flag that I do. I have this big flag that I want to get a load of like friends, mates, creators and people. Like I got Audrey to sign it as well. I want a lot of people to sign the flag, but it was such a cool time, and the day had barely started. Like I was already having a good time and the day had barely started. Then after the Elle Mills meetup, I went to the Being Black on YouTube panel.
This is the Being Black About YouTube panel. Awesome, great. So my name's Ahiz, my YouTube channel is called Ahiz, and I just upload daily content, vlogs, fashion videos. I started to get into travel videos more as well, because I really do get inspired by traveling. So yeah, so that's what I do. So everyone can introduce themselves. If we start with you.
Okay, hi guys, my name's Mo, aka Mo Chunks.
I'm Nego Tree, that's N-E-G-O, and then if you can spell true. So,
oh hi, I'm Mr. 200M, Mr. 200M. What's up?
Hey party people, it's Rueda here. My name is Rueda, also known as Absolutely Rueda on YouTube, and I'm also one half of the Real Shet podcast on SoundCloud.
Hey everyone, my name is Ajani. I'm on YouTube as well. I'm the four-part of film, so Dreaming Lost Black, and I make web series content. Go!
How did your family and friends feel about you doing YouTube?
I don't mind starting that off. So for me, I don't think it was really weird when I told my friends and family that I was going to start YouTube, because the way they kind of started was that I was at university and I was studying film and television production, and then I planned a trip to go to New York, and so I wanted my family and friends to see that experience. So I told them that I was going to film a travel video. So it ended up being called Who Goes to New York. And from there, I kind of just decided to carry on with it, because I was getting a lot of questions from people saying, oh, how is it like being a black woman traveling, or a young black woman traveling? Tell us about that. Do you have any issues traveling? And so for me, it was a natural thing. And so my family and friends were like, yeah, do it. Go on, why not?
For me, it was a bit of both. It was a bit natural, because I've always been the kind of person that likes to have conversations and stuff. So I did it as a hobby, but it was kind of like an anti-climax for my family to find out that, you know, after graduating from a medical physiology degree for first class, and then going to do and then leaving all of that, I was meant to go study medicine, and I told my mom that I didn't feel like that was what God was calling me to do. So you can imagine the disappointment of your graduates, a whole graduates coming downstairs every Monday, was it, that I used to film, with a full face of makeup, ready to, and she'd be like, where are you going? I'm like, downstairs to do content for YouTube, and she'd go back into her room like, Holy Ghost, she really thought something was wrong with me, but now I think they get it.
I think with me, I come from a very results-based family, which was kind of beneficial for me when I started creating content, because as much as like all my friends did it for a passion, I knew I had to have the passion, I had the business acumen behind it as well. And same story, like I started YouTube straight after graduating with a business and finance degree. I had a deal with my mum that if I could make as much money doing this as I do in my graduate job, then I can leave my graduate job.
Damn.
So I left my graduate job.
And my parents are very liberal, so they really want me to like do the best that I can do authentically. They don't feel like, I know with a lot of African parents and from families and culture, a lot of their children feel pressure to do things that their parents say. But my parents are very liberal, which I'm really blessed about. And when I did tell them at first, they were a bit skeptical, because they were like, make sure that obviously you film in a location where it obviously doesn't show the house, obviously the bad state and things like that. Because like my mum, she loves her privacy and stuff, and she doesn't want to see like maybe, I don't know, a dirty pot in the back of the kitchen or something. You know what I mean? So it was one of them ones. Friends-wise, I didn't really have many friends at the time when I did YouTube, so I kept it really low-key. I didn't really tell people about it. But yeah, I started out having obviously the blessing from my parents. Okay, if you're gonna do it, obviously do it. Go ahead. If you have content, go out and obviously create. And yeah, so it's been good for me. Yeah. So on this panel, a lot of us and many of the people in the audience probably do have an idea of what black creators and black bloggers face in the social media community. But one of the questions that we're going to ask today, and everyone else on the panel, what do you think the challenges are that black people face as black creators and bloggers? Do you want to start?
Can I think about it?
Yeah.
I'll probably have like a more controversial view.
So,
I think everything's based on demand. I'm not really, when it comes to business, especially e-commerce business, you can't request funding based on how you feel. You have to be in demand. And I guess one of the main issues that we probably face is the fact that we are the minority, which means even if you're just talking in culture, our content won't always relate to the masses, and it won't always be demanded by the masses. And as a result of that, the funding or the hope that we expect won't always go towards us, and it's less for the sake of, obviously there's situations where it is for the sake of race, but it's less for the sake of race and more for the fact of were not in demand. I think that's why, for example, in my content, like I'm very I try to be very attentive to the opportunities that we could make and how to flip things and the amount of revenue streams to increase. So it does make it difficult in the sense of, yes, you can create something of the same standard as someone else and not get the same results, but it's also just based on the fact that it won't reflect the majority of the population.
Hard as a black creator, I would say mainly because you either have to feed into a certain stereotype, or if not, if you're in an interracial couple, you need to put that on the forefront. If you do that, there's a good chance you're going to get popular that way as well. And I'm saying that because I've actually had that experience. I'm married to a white man, lovely white man, and what I realised on YouTube is that if you want to put that out there, you're more likely to get more views, you get way more activity, and people then don't really want to know about you as a person. They're just so interested in your relationship, and it just becomes quite draining. So I do think though that there are a good amount of black creators doing fantastic things out there. Jackie Aina, Patricia, over here Nella Rose, who else? But Annie Drea is amazing, but even her, she should get way more credit than she does. And I feel like if she wasn't black, she would probably get that. And so I feel like if you feed into the stereotypes or the narrative that people have, you're more likely to get popular because people are like, I'm used to that narrative, so I'm going to go with that, opposed to, hey, this black girl, this black guy is a skateboarder, or does this or does that. They kind of want to just stick to what they know, which is sometimes a bit of a shame.
Interesting. I really enjoyed the panel. I really enjoyed a lot of the panels that were having more diverse creators on it. Then after that, I went to LGBTQ plus panel. And yeah, no, it was interesting.
So no, it's different in America, Matt. And anyone can take it, or I will pick on one of you.
Just because you named me, I'll just quickly say asexuals a lot of time don't really like a lot of them are very shy about the topic, and so it's not something they talk about as much. Personally, I don't really do it as much. It's just something that's part of me, but I'm like, so that's personally why I think maybe on the ace side, why it's not as big of a thing.
I feel like especially with like asexuality, there's a lot of erasure and there's a lot of people saying it isn't wrong. In like the LGBTQIA+, even though it's the A, like that's what the A stands for, it's not for allies. So I feel like especially with like asexuality, that makes sense. I'm going to say that I think there are a lot of LGBT creators. I just don't think there's not many big ones. Because there is a community, and there's a massive community, and I know a bunch of people that create. But I feel like they're kind of more smaller, and they don't get as much recognition.
Do you think there's a reason for that, why they're not getting that recognition?
I don't know.
But do you think when it comes to kind of intersectional minorities that it is perhaps lacking? Not to put you in a box, Jessica, but I think you're one of...
I'm really struggling to fit bridge with them.
Oh, sorry, yeah. But I feel like if we talked about like LGBT plus creators with disabilities, for instance, it's only yourself and Megan that I would be able to think of off the top of my head. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's many creators that I'm not aware of.
There are definitely more than you're aware of, because 1/3 of people who class themselves as LGBTQ+ also have disability.
Ooh. Did not know that.
There you go, they're out there.
Then, honestly, the best panel for me on that Saturday was the natural hair and beauty panel. I've never seen anything like that on any sort of convention. And oh my god, natural hair in terms of like, when we say natural hair, black people, people of colour, natural hair, so important. The conversations that were being had, like texture discrimination and what to do with your hair if it's damaged, and doing the big chop, and like all of these things, so instrumental. Do you have any idea how many black young girls as well have never seen their true natural hair, because society has conditioned you know, black girls, people of colour, to conform to the white standards of beauty and the white stereotypes, or like what they really talked about as well. It's like you'd go to a job, and what would be conceived as professional. I've always been told, like, having my cane rows, that wouldn't be professional enough, or like you have to straighten your hair, or you have to look a certain way. And like, it was so important those conversations were being had, and I was like, yes, I really related to this panel. Like, I loved it.
Oily, kinky, kind of afro hair. So when it comes to texture discrimination, I think whatever's closest to what is considered normal type 1 is considered acceptable. So there seems to be some kind of struggles with people with type 4 hair in terms of accepting their hair, especially the more kinkier or coilier it is, because there isn't wide stream acceptance of the hair. Sometimes there's kind of issues, sometimes with people not liking their own hair texture, or kind of having, you know, wishing their hair was something other than what it is. And there seems to be this texture discrimination within the natural hair community, where people with type 3 hair, curly hair, is seen as better, and then in our kind of community is the terminology of good hair versus bad hair. Learn this new hairstyle that works with my own texture, because for me personally, I tend to find I used to fight my hair texture so it could be something that it wasn't, and now I don't. I lean into it and I pick hairstyles that kind of just accentuate what I already have. And I think the more we do that, and the thing is, I get compliments on how I wear my hair all the time, so I think in a sense, I think I see more and more women, black women, wearing their hair naturally, and it's becoming more of a norm. And I think if we just continue that trend, we will eventually get to the promised land where people can just be comfortable in their own skin. And I think our men are a part of the problem with texture discrimination, because they tend to consider women who are lighter skin and have a particular hair pattern or grade, as we tend to call it,
discriminated against. Oh my God. Either getting a job, getting a promotion, or being sought after because of your texture of hair. Any of you experience that?
Yes. I wouldn't say that I've felt discriminated against per se, but hair anxiety is real, you know. Like, if I switch up my looks, I go into my looks out long, and then I come in next week and I've styled it short. The amount of questions that I get asked. Yeah. I had one guy come up to me when I had styled my locks short about maybe 2 months ago or so, and he was like, "Winnie, you cut your hair. You cut all your hair." I was like, "No, I haven't cut it. I've just styled it short." Yeah. "Oh yeah, that's what I say when I go to the barbers." And I was like, "Wow, I haven't cut it." And then obviously the following week I'd taken the style out, so I came in with it curly. "Oh, you've changed your hair again." I just took out the hairstyle that I had last week. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Or there's been times where maybe I'm going to talk to a recruiter or something, and I'm thinking to myself, I haven't retwisted my locks, you know, my locks are looking a bit frizzy, are they going to judge me? So there's kind of that. I'm going to be honest, sometimes you have a bit of an internal conflict with yourself when it comes to your hair. And in my lock journey, like, I've had my locks for over 8 years now, but kind of near the start of my journey, I used to do a method where I'd interlock my hair. And I became so obsessed with wanting my locks to look neat all the time. Like, if one grain of hair was out of place, I would interlock it. And in turn, what happened was my locks started to thin out. So I had to say to myself, "Yo, Winnie, what the fuck are you doing? Like, sort yourself out. Let your hair grow and just allow your looks to be." I talked about hair in the workplace, because I used to teach in a secondary school, and it was a few years ago where, like, the natural movement was big, but it's getting bigger every year. So I would have little girls. I think it was good to have that representation in the classroom, a black woman with her own hair type, like just embracing her hair type. And I would hear girls whispering and trying to guess what hair type I am. Mrs. 4C, she's 4A, nah, Mrs. 4B, nah, Miss? Is it about the subject? Nah, Miss, but your hair. And it would just create debate in the classroom. But I think that was important for those young 15, 16-year-olds to see a black woman wearing her hair in a professional setting. Yeah. And I think I haven't had because I was working in the school, I haven't had any negative issues, but in fact it was like getting kids to embrace it more than anything.
I spoke to like two of the people on the panel, and they're very great and they're very nice, and I will put some of the clips below. It was very important. It was a very good panel. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Then I just wandered around you know, the SiTC Expo Hall a bit. I went with my friend Lee to the slide, and we went down the slide a few times. It was actually really fun. I thought I was gonna be like, I mean, nowadays when you go on a slide and you're a bit older, like you just kind of like go really slowly, or like you plump. I was like streamlining, speeding it. I was zooming down. Like every time we were recording a footage, I would just be gone. Lee would be all the way up there and I'd be like zoom. But it was really fun. Of course it's a bouncy castle.
Oh my gosh. I should have brought my phone up. Oh, I have my phone with me as well.
Hey.
What are you doing, Shay?
Oh my god.
What's up?
Yes.
Take your side.
Oh, I'm on this side, of course.
Yeah. Same side as yesterday.
I can't do the same thing here.
3, 2, 1.
Ah! I'm so much faster than you.
Wow.
Every time.
I'm so much faster. We have to do it again.
Oh my god, no.
Yes.
Somewhere in the city. We just went on the slide. It was really fun. Yes, please. It's been a pretty good day. It's winding down.
For some nice acoustic songs about my feelings. My name's Ola, this is a song called Flatline. I'm standing long ways, waiting for it to get to see paradise for just 1 minute. I thought I saw you walk away. I thought you were. Stay on your good side, say what you wanna hear. Bend over backwards and shut up until I disappear. You never change for anyone, but I'm so envious. And I give you my love, but it's not enough. Now this feels like I don't know nothing else going stuck on us. Told you I'm a winner, you're a runner-up, a runner-up. 'Cause I'm hold on to better things and better days. I know I can not a better make. Stay on my way, I'm a living on a better place. Now you erased all my brain, so they begging on me. Baby, I'm still make better things and better days. I know I can not a better make. Stay on my way, I'm a living in a better place. Now you erased all my brain, so they begging on me. So get on your bags, get out my house. I don't want your stuff around. I never did you wrong, but you did me wrong. So go ahead, get gone. Get on your bags, get out my house. I don't want your stuff around. I never did you wrong, but you did me wrong. So go ahead and get gone. I know what you did in the dark.
To be honest, it's been quite like, today's been like the jam-packed day.
Right.
So it's been like,
Friday was so chill. I had such a good day on Friday.
you try to vlog, but then you don't.
It's too busy.
You're trying to just, first of all, live the moment, 2, it's too busy. I think tomorrow's going to be Sunday. It's going to be
see my fit right
a
now.
lot more of a chiller day.
What was your favourite part today?
Me and my study triggers, of course.
For me, I think it was the being black on YouTube. Right, it was really good. It was like a different sort of like thing. Yeah, and like spending time with Lee again. I think like it's good. It's really good to, because last year I came by myself and it wasn't like but having people around you, like you come in with friends or something. Yeah, like the first, like literally, I hadn't even entered the building and I saw some friends that I hadn't seen in a few weeks or something, and we just went to the meetup before I even entered the building. So it was like you got to, meet up and talk with people before you even got started, like in terms of like panels or events or whatever. I've still got my panel to do tomorrow. Very nervous, very scared, very excited. And yeah, I guess we'll see how that goes. Now the most exciting bit, I will cut some footage of me in the morning as well. Here we go. On my way to my panel with Lee and my friend Z. Hi. Hey. I'm very stressed. Got about 10 minutes. No, I don't. No, I don't. I'm lying. It starts in about 25 minutes. I was supposed to be there like 5 minutes ago. You'll be alright. Oh well. Sunday. Oh my god. Like, oh, I'm trying to contain myself right now because like I don't know if I can fully express into words like how great summer in the city was for me. Because, well, in comparison to the last time I went, I really didn't enjoy it in 2017. I think that's partly because I didn't have people with me and I went by myself, but also partly because I didn't feel like the event was for me. I didn't feel like there were enough creators like myself anywhere, so whatever. But it doesn't feel like that as much this year. So yeah, the panel. I was on the gender identity panel for Summer in the City 2019. Crazy. It was such a fun time. It was such an amazing panel. I'm going to be putting clips in this video, but also I'm going to upload the full panel for anyone that wants to watch it, because I think it was a very important panel. We had so many interesting and good conversations. I'm so happy Ant Bell was there. I hadn't met Ant beforehand. Like, we literally just met 5 minutes before the panel started. And I really loved them to pieces. They're such an articulate, you know, great human. Jake was like such an amazing moderator. Oh my god, while looking amazing and fabulous. Like, each day, Jake's outfits were just like, yes. But it was such an important, great panel. Like, especially when Jake had the question of, you know, what can white trans people do to help people of colour? Like, oof. Me and I were like, oof. We were talking about socioeconomic reasons as to why there may not be enough, you know, people of colour on the platform, because there are a different set of priorities. Because I'm in a position right now, and Ant's in a position at the moment where, okay, well, we have the resources to make videos if we want to. Other people might not have those resources. And then also, we're definitely not bigged up or represented enough. Like, there could be people out there, and there is, but trying to have that reach, we are not as big or as present as, you know, some of the white trans YouTubers. And it seems, especially on YouTube, that if you look, the majority of YouTubers are white, able-bodied, and yeah, which isn't the whole experience, you know. That's not reflective of the whole community. And I think that's why it was really good having people of colour on the panel. Ant said so many great points, you know, being, in their words, ethnically diverse. Because I thought they brought like other things to the table that even I couldn't, as a black person. I'm like, I don't know how it feels to be mixed race, and when people tell you you can't be one thing and another. Though I've definitely gone into spaces that I haven't been comfortable being black and trans. And yeah, people need, it needs to be better. There needs to be things, there needs to be better. And honestly, because I don't want to make this video so long, I feel like I will make a separate video on what needs to change. Obviously, it's not going to change overnight. And I feel like what we're talking about as well, Instagram, I think, is a very good platform for people to find diverse creators and, you know, seek out different types of people. YouTube, but we're getting there. Mainstream media, oof. Though the first black trans man I saw was on, I think, a BBC documentary, and that was, you know, more mainstream. So it's a bit of an issue because usually mainstream media portrays trans people in a negative light. YouTube, it's kind of like one mold of people, which is usually like trans, mask, white, young. And then I think it's only like Instagram. If you go and search those people and you can find it, which I'm going to, Anne has inspired me to also make like a little database of just a few names or people that I follow of trans people of colour, because I think to spread the word about awesome people that are also creative and also deserve a voice. Yes, But the panel was really good. I feel like our voices were definitely heard. I feel like we were listened to. I feel like we got to say things that, you know, we got to say what we needed to say. We had points to bring across, and I thought everyone listened, and I thought everyone engaged. And I was nervous as heck, but everyone said it was great and fine, and it was a very important panel to be a part of, and the conversations that we had were very important. Like, yeah. And also, thinking about it now, Jake's question at the end, like, we were not prepared that, like, compliment yourself. I feel like to add to that, I would have liked to have said, I am proud of myself for being so public about things and doing public speaking, because I have social anxiety. I am freaking scared talking to one human being, usually, not so much anymore, but like I struggle with that. So like speaking to a panel full of like kids and young people and like whoever else, like that was a new thing for me. I think everyone had already spoken on a panel before, but I hadn't, so I was nervous about that. But everyone was amazing. All of the panelists were amazing. The audience was amazing. Everyone was so welcoming. It was such a nice experience. Love to do it again. It was such an inviting time. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and yeah.
Myself as authentically as humanly possible. I think if you dilute who you are on the internet, it sends a message to other people that might be struggling with their identity that they should be doing the same thing, when really the internet is a free-for-all, it's for everybody. I just sort of want to portray myself as someone that's, you know, thriving, determined, and, you know, wanting to, you know, occupy space in the world, and being trans is part of that. But also it's like you shouldn't have to shoulder the responsibility of representing an incredibly diverse and complex group of individuals that is our community. Like, just being yourself, really, I guess, is the best way to represent being yourself. That was a better way to end that sentence. I'll shut it on.
No, I think I'm the same way. Especially in my videos and like in real life, I want to be the most authentically me. I wouldn't do a portrayal or a difference of how I am in real life versus online. I think it's very important, especially as a trans person of colour, to be out there and be myself, because I don't feel like there's that much representation in media and YouTube versus like in the real world. So yeah, no, being, like you said as well, and being yourself and doing it.
It's always hard going in the middle. I think there is a kind of level of feeling of responsibility, not that I think anybody should be under any obligation to represent themselves in a way they don't want to. But I think because sometimes how trans people can be portrayed in the media, and if you have like, I want to say like one bad egg out of a minority group, sometimes people can pick on that. So I guess there's a sense of responsibility to put out a positive message, but I think just reiterating that be yourself at the end of the day.
I kind of agree with Jamie. I feel like we shouldn't have a responsibility to do anything because it's our choice to put videos out there, but I feel like I do want to kind of make sure that we're being portrayed in a good way. I know that there's obviously a lot of bad press for trans people, and as a trans person it's kind of annoying to see that, so it's not like I feel a responsibility, it's more just like I don't want people to see us like that.
I don't want people to have a preconceived notion of what a trans person is. I want to live my life visibly. In a way, being visible in itself is a form of activism. If you go about doing your normal life online, then people should feel involved and want to come and see you and speak to you, and I feel like there is a responsibility there to make sure that it's warm and welcoming.
This is exactly how it should be in that way.
So leading on from that, how
how do you feel the way you portray yourself online is different from the way the media portrays us?
Well, it depends what kind of media, to be honest, because...
Mainstream media specifically.
Okay, great. Yeah, no, mainstream media is not kind to trans people at all. If nobody knew that, it's not kind to trans people. I would say that it's hard because if there are people that read mainstream media publications and who genuinely believe all of the, transphobia that you see in mainstream media, it's like, do I want to waste my time trying to convince people of my humanity? Absolutely not. Should I try and bother? No. However, as trans people, we deserve to be heard and seen in important discussions and issues that affect everyone on an international and national level. like things like the EU referendum, things like political elections. We deserve to be heard. And it's sort of a catch-22 because you want to be involved in these discussions, but is it your responsibility to convince people that you're worthy of being heard?
And, you know, it's a really difficult one to battle with personally. I don't think I have an answer for it, to be honest. Sorry. I was to say, I feel like you explained it quite well, though, even though it wasn't exactly an answer. So I think definitely mainstream media portrays us in a very negative light. I agree the same. I don't really pay too much attention to it because a lot of the media is negative, and that's not reflective of who we are as a people. That's why I think like a lot of people usually go online to like YouTube to find more positive representation of trans people. Because if you look at the news and media and articles, they're all negative or talking about trans kids in a negative light or anything like that. And finding people online is definitely a better way to do that.
I think a majority of mainstream media about trans people is very sensationalized and and it can be very transphobic, and it's all this kind of stuff about like, oh, a man who used to be a woman has a baby, and it's all that stuff is trying to just get reads and clicks. And I think on YouTube and online, people are kind of in a little trans safety bubble a lot of the time, and mainstream media can kind of break that bubble. But whilst I think a lot of the time it's really shit, like how trans people are portrayed in mainstream media, I think it's important to break the bubble sometimes and get new people in to learn things, but there's definitely a lot of improvement to be made.
Yeah, no, I agree with Jamie. I feel like a lot of trans awareness in the media is more just exaggerated. So if it's good, it's really good, or if it's bad, it's really bad. Like everybody knows of the man trans woman, and that's become a meme right now. And I feel like it's important, if you're going to be a trans creator online, to just portray yourself authentically and just show people that yes, you're trans, but you're not just trans. You're a person just like everybody else. I feel like the media kind of makes us out to be like others, like we're not actual people, but
sure.
Yeah.
So the problem that I've had with mainstream media myself is that I had an article written about me in like a popular mainstream media paper. I'm not going to give them the time of day. But the problem with mainstream media is there's always a narrative. There's something to be sold, and if anyone's going to sell the product that is me, I want to be able to sell that product. I don't want someone to come in and say, well, that's not good enough. We need to use inflammatory language in order to get your point across, because that takes the control away from me. I don't like that. So mainstream media needs to get its act together. I think it's come a long way, but it's still got a long way to go.
Although to look out because diverse trans people, because on YouTube, unless you really search for them, it's usually white trans people, which is fine. But like, I also want to
it's fine.
Yeah,
it's fine, but it's not fine.
I want to find like people like me and like you. I don't think I've made like a coming out video, but I was public about who I am on YouTube, and I'm public about how I am on Instagram, and I want it to be more of an inclusive space, but I find that more on Instagram than I have found on YouTube. I think it is more positive in terms of, like, it's not mainstream media negative, but there definitely needs to be improvements with YouTube. I feel like a lot of people, they have a YouTube account, but it's mainly Instagram, like especially diverse YouTube, like trans people, they don't usually have a YouTube account, they usually have an Instagram because they're an activist, or they're an actor, or they're a model. They have other platforms that they're using, and YouTube isn't one of them. So I haven't been on the platform too long. I can't really gauge if it's positive or negative. Right now, I think it's okay. I say,
my sweet summer child.
Like it needs a lot of improvement, I think. I think we can get it there, to be honest. I think with more work and more time, we'll be seeing like it being reflected more positively, like Area 51, that shit.
I think it's become a bigger thing for trans people. I think YouTube, like the trans community on YouTube, kind of exploded, and there's kind of negative things in terms of YouTube as a platform, but also the attention that's coming across from mainstream media and other places. It can be quite negative, but at the same time, I think overall, it's bringing more awareness and more education, which I think kind of as a whole is a positive thing.
Yeah, I think it's great that there's more trans awareness, but I also feel like obviously, I'm only 19, so I wasn't like... Baby. Yeah, I'm baby.
I can't say that, sorry.
You're young.
I'm 2 years older than you.
I'm baby.
Yeah, the youngest one here.
But no, I feel like when YouTube started out, when trans people started creating content on there, it was more like kind of a niche thing because there weren't as many trans creators. But as it's got bigger, there's more people watching it, there's more people creating it. But I also feel like it's more just it's not trans people just watching trans videos anymore. And there'll be videos that will like, again, sensationalize trans people, but trans people will do that. They're like, trans guy reacts to transgender. People will come and watch that, not because they're interested in trans people, but because they just want to laugh at us. And I feel like that's an issue, so I feel like obviously there's more positive stuff because there's more trans people that are aware of themselves being trans, but I think with growth there's always going to be more negative stuff as well.
So I've been on YouTube for a very long time. I started making content in 2008. Wow. I was part of community channels and I really enjoyed it at the beginning. I thought it was like something new, something different. When you used to say like, oh, I'm a YouTuber, people were like, no, what? You can't make money doing that. And I was doing very well for a long time. I don't think that YouTube holds much of my future because, as Ant said, economic discrimination. I think it's getting harder and harder and harder to monetize your content, so you can't be as creative or do as many things as you would like to do. And it sort of forces you into this niche of making 1 or 2 very specific types of videos, and that sort of constant content creating, needing to fit niche is like, not, it exists, it's just not it. I've made some excellent friends through YouTube though, like my friend Rolly in the audience. I've like knowing people for like 10 years and then meeting them face to face. I would never have had that experience without YouTube. So although it's like constantly changing, I like to think that from like a personal experience, and even if you just find one creator that you like, make sure you support them.
Right, going in with the deep question.
Oh, I know this.
You know what's coming. So, personally, I will hold my hand up and admit I had an extremely hard time finding trans people of colour in the UK on YouTube as a platform. So, my question is, do you think there's a tendency to focus more on white trans experience in the UK? And if so, how can we remedy this?
First of all, it depends if you're in the trans community or not. I feel like in the trans community, people are very aware that, has anyone heard of QTPOC? So that's trans intersex people of colour. That's sort of like a little community in and of itself. And I feel like within that sort of community, there is a huge focus and a huge amount of awareness on the lack of visibility in mainstream media. But also, again, it's like, when we're coming down to YouTube, like everybody talks about like why is YouTube so white, right? Everybody talks about that. And it's mainly because, you know, being white often comes with socioeconomic privilege, means you have more money, means you have easier access to things like free time, editing software, a laptop, internet access, like those basic things. Whereas like, when I know that for a lot of trans people of colour, there's a vastly different set of priorities. Like, I follow this guy on Instagram called Chio Gomez. He has been living on sofas for 6 months so that he can raise £2,000 for top surgery. Like, he literally hasn't had a home, he hasn't had internet access. Like, I mean, obviously he would make amazing YouTube videos, but it's like, you know, people don't have access to that kind of thing all the time. So I guess if you do want to see more trans people of colour on the platform, find your local trans person of colour, give them a camera, say they can use your internet, and let them make whatever the hell they want. Because, you know, you need to give people material resources in order to make what they feel free to make. Like, people are in difficult situations. Like, it's not as easy as like, oh, we need some more like token diversity people on this panel. Like, no, you have to really go out and find them, and you have to know where to look as well. And you have to prioritize doing that searching as well.
See, that was the thing that I found, is just not knowing where to look. And struggling to find those people who did know where to look.
Yeah, it's an interesting one because there's this huge thing about safe space policy as well. Because it's like, for example, I know in London, like I live in London, there are a lot of club nights that are explicitly for trans women of colour, trans people of colour, and those spaces are highly, highly protected because it is so dangerous letting people into a space you don't know if they're going to treat you with respect or not. Like, even like gay clubbing in London, it is so dangerous sometimes. Like, I've been and you end up being like harassed and stuff. So if you simply, do you know what, actually, maybe Instagram, I can like shout out a load of queer creators. Would anyone like that? Would you be okay with that? Yeah, no, I'll see if I can do that. My @ is @0 on Instagram. Plug. But yeah, I'll list like a whole bunch of like queer and trans people of colour. I think that'd be really great if everyone could just do that and shout out their content as well. Because the people that can make it, like you probably like you got lucky or like things are going well for them, and it's like support each other. Sorry, that was the end of that. I'm done. Sorry.
No, I wasn't saying.
I took up loads of time.
No, take up your time. Exactly.
Claiming my time. This might be the most important moment of this panel. So
Yeah, no, and
take all the time.
100%.
Okay, I'll make that list.
Yeah. No, I loved every single word you said. I fully agree with every single word you said. I feel like I'm in a privileged position because like I had the resources, I have like, you know, a good computer, I have a camera, I have
like intersectionality, like trans person of colour but also super middle class.
Yeah, exactly. So I feel like I had privilege in that sense because like you said, not everyone has access.
How do we fix?
Yeah, there is definitely
Someone's got to say it, right?
There's a tendency to focus on the white trans experience. And like Anne was saying, there is definitely, because before even I came out to myself, I was like, where are the people of colour? Like, do we not exist? Like, where's everyone at? Like, send me the deets. But like I said, yeah, there are spaces, but they're highly protected spaces.
Yeah.
I know, like, I go to like a couple of nights, or I go to find spaces that are like queer trans people of colour, because I feel like, especially white trans people or white gay people, they kind of think just because they're in the LGBTQ plus community that they aren't going to be racist, or they are not going to be anti-racist, or they love how Logan and Jacob are shaking their head. And they forget that, or when they see race issues or racism happening, they don't call out bullshit. It's kind of left to the people of colour to call out, but it's not really our job to do that. I think anyway.
Thank you.
And I think that's a problem in itself also, but also people of colour sometimes find navigating the space they do. Every time I go to an event and it's a trans space, all of the people of colour like group together. I'm not sure if it's unconsciously, consciously, we just group together. It's a thing everywhere I go. And it's not like, oh, we don't feel like welcome, but you just feel so much safer because you don't know necessarily the white people around you. Yes, we're together, yes, we're trans, yes, we're queer, whatever, but I feel like race and class as well, comes first, and that's what people see, and we still have that like step back. I mean, I'm black and queer, and sometimes when I'm going into a black space, I don't feel like, oh, can I talk about my queerness? Can I talk about my transness? Same when I go into a trans space, I'm like, oh, am I okay to bring like my blackness as well? Because some spaces, a lot of people of colour feel like they can't be like their whole selves, so they have to tone it down a bit, which I don't think is great.
I think it's kind of like when the space is designed by you for
yeah,
it's like who's organised the event, who's like actually orchestrating how it's meant to go.
Yeah.
Because that kind of autonomy, it makes you feel safe. Because it's like, okay, someone like me did this, like they're probably not gonna screw me over. Like it's not really in their interests to do that.
Like the best events I've been to have been for queer people of colour, by queer people of colour. Like I'm going on like a LGBTQ plus like people of colour retreat.
It's a retreat?
Yeah. Shout out Kamp Kiki. They are for over 18 queer trans people of colour. There's another retreat as well in like November, December time. But like I always like seek out those spaces because I've been in trans spaces and like stuff has gone down, you know? Like, I think it was like 50 trans people and only 3 of us were people of colour, and immediately we're alienated. And people don't mean to do that on purpose.
Oh yeah, like none of this racism is ever malicious.
Yeah.
But it's still like, we need to try harder, do better.
Of course, yeah, but also like, I feel like, I don't know, like I don't want to be like every single white person in the audience, like it's racist, but like, you know, like, society is inherently racist. It's not like in fact like everybody's going black trans people not allowed because no one like ever like overtly thinks that. I mean if they are, I presume they wouldn't be here. But like no one